All right, good morning. Let's see, are we in frame? Yeah, I think so. Let's turn the music down a little bit. We'll see how that is. Let me do a quick audio check. We'll see how that is. Let me do a quick audio check. Seems fine. Let me know if the music is too low, or I'm too high, or vice versa. But otherwise, good morning. Happy Sunday. What are we doing today? Well, last week, I was working on the thing that I've been working on for a few weeks now, which is our tower defense game. Which I think maybe I have a name for. I think that I had a ChatGPT window, and the tentative AI generated name until I come up with something better is Nom Defense. Click aim survive for this, so we're gonna roll with that. Yeah. So anyway, I like the color scheme as well. Some of these colors anyway. So we'll see where we get with that. But we're gonna pick off where we pick up where we left off last week, which was this pull request for level 1, because we had some pathing issues, I think was the thing. Specifically, I tried, and I think I left myself a comment because I thought about this a little bit after the stream. Maybe we should consolidate to a single navigation region. It seems that multiple navigation regions are a thing that are supported, but they're supposed to be adjacent, or there's a separate thing if they're sparse, if they're like if you have like portals or something between areas, but they shouldn't overlap, and it doesn't work right. And so I think the thinking was that we wanted, let's go look at what we have going on here. So we have the level, which is, here's level 1, the scene, and there's a navigation region 3D that has a navigation mesh. And the thinking was previously that some of these settings we tweaked when so last stream what we did was we pulled a lot of things that were in the main scene and put it in a level with the idea of being able to actually load different levels, right? That's what we're moving towards. But to do that, we needed to move level specific things into the level scene and clean out what was in the main scene to be things that were persistent across levels. So like once we load the game, we would have this scene, and we would presumably, I guess here's a question: are we even going to be in a setup where what am I trying to say? Right? So right now, like this is the game. There's not even, is there? Let's just run it really quick. Right, so we do have the menu. We have this UI, and we can start the game. So the question is going to be: are we going to be in a situation where when we finish the level, we move on to the next level? We're going to keep the scene with the UI and the camera and all these things, right? I guess a question is, how do we? Is this the main scene still? Right, if I run this current scene, no. Okay. So the main scene and the project must have changed. Where do we see that? Yeah, there we go. Main menu. Main menu is the main scene. So the question is going to be, when we switch levels, are we? I guess we'll stay in this scene that I'm calling main, and we'll swap out this node, right? We're gonna remove this one and load in a different one, and maybe we end up with like a level container or something that is where that gets inserted or something, or maybe this should just be at the bottom. Anyway, so thinking about like how do we switch between levels, and then responding to something on Discord, and then so we moved a bunch of things. Prior to that move, we just had the single navigation region 3D that had a navigation mesh, and what we had done is that we had made some changes to the geometry settings here for performance to control what got so we were getting warnings in the console about loading in 3D mesh data into like essentially having to get mesh data from the GPU and transfer it from GPU memory to just normal memory for use for pathfinding, essentially. That's what all this navigation region stuff is. And so we changed some things. So we change. So what? I think this has to be both. Right. So skipping all over the place. Basically, it seems like we can't have multiple navigation regions that are supposed to overlap. Like we can't have these two different use cases of like, I have one navigation region that lives in the world, separate from the level, that is tracking the placement of obstacles. So like the walls and towers that we're going to place to defend our survivors, to defend them from the zombies. And then the idea last week was that then in the level, I would have a navigation region 3D that would be for the terrain, right? Which is this mesh that we made in Blender. Isn't that wonderful? Side note, I think we will try to get back to Blender today. I realized my point of confusion, I think, with I was trying to use the subdivision surface modifier and then do sculpting, but I think it's supposed to be the multi-resolution. There's a separate thing for sculpting, and it didn't matter. I mean, we don't need to sculpt the terrain. We can just move the vertices around. Anyway, doesn't matter. Point being, I think we have to move the navigation region 3D. We'll remove it from the level, and we will, I guess, do something. Something. What? I'm not sure. So I think the warning is coming from the fact that we're rebaking the navigation mesh that's in the region. And we're doing that because the world changes. Like we place obstacles, the world changes. I guess. What do we want to do about that? We just ignore the warning, right? Because when it rebakes, it has to rescan all the things, right? So it's both the terrain of the world, right, which is coming from the level, and it's also the obstacles. So I think, yeah, it's just going to be not optimal. And maybe we'll get some warnings. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and remove the navigate. Look at this. We're actually doing something in the first, 15 minutes of the stream. Anyway. Okay, and then I'm going to change the settings here to say both. And we're going to say yes. We're we're going to have everything that is going to be subject to pathing have this group. And so the question is, yeah, navigation mesh, should this be global? This should probably be global and not checked. And then in the level, our plane should be in this group. And then in main, obstacle placement, we probably want to make it so that there is an input on this node that applies that group to all the obstacles it spawns in. So this is okay, we didn't need to see the scene. It just has a ray trace in it. All right. So let's go to the script. Get VS Code going here. And so this is our obstacle placement script. And we are going to yeah, let's just add an export to this export group called obstacle group. And so I think if I put 2 comments here, this will at least make it show up when I hover over the var, right? Yes. Okay, so this is group to indicate the obstacle should affect navigation. And we can give it a default. Like, we know it's supposed to be navigation mesh source group, but this allows us to overwrite it. Like, we could remove the contents entirely if we wanted to disable that. There we go. And then when we create the obstacle, probably in place obstacle. There we go. So before we actually rebake the navigation mesh, we should now Copilot has said, let me check to see if it's in the group, and if it's not in the group, add it to the group. But the docs for add to group say what? Adds the node to the group. Groups can be helpful, blah, 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 blah. If persistent is true, the group will be stored when saved instead of, okay, I don't care about that. The order of group names is not guaranteed. Yeah, but it's probably safe to just add it, even if it's already in the group. Like, one would think this would be treated like a set, right? So, one, adding it to the same group over and over again isn't a big deal. And this is not something that's happening in a loop, right? This is called when we click to place the preview of the object. So, yeah, that seems fine. Okay, so if we go back to navigation region 3D, we'll make sure that, yeah, parse geometry type is both static colliders and mesh instances. So static colliders covers this for the case where words, come on, brain. So our obstacles have static colliders, and the mesh instances is specifically for the terrain. Is that true? Is that the way that goes? Right, we don't... No. Other way around? Yeah, other way around. Here's a thought. Hold on. How do we... what defines the obstacles? I think, does that live in the UI? In the hotbar? Where do the obstacles come from? Difficulty remembering. So, no. Speed control, spawn indicator. No. How are the obstacles that we can place defined? I forget. It's great. It's great when you get far enough into a project that you start forgetting about how things work. Neat. I'm not sure why that setting is on the... Okay, it's on the main script for whatever reason. World obstacle... Like, this script owns... Let's take a look at the script for obstacle placement again. It's where we just were. Right, so there's probably a signal connected to this node. Probably the other way, right? So something in the UI. Yeah, so let's take a look at the UI script. Right, so obstacle spawn requested is how the request makes it to that other node. Right, so a signal is triggered on this node that emits. So whenever request obstacle spawn is called, so there must be a signal inside of the UI, probably in the hotbar. Let's take a look at that script. Populate default hotbar. Okay. Oh, right. So we have this obstacle registry. Some magic, in other words. So, yeah, how does this work? So we have an auto load. Let's go look at the obstacle registry. So this is a script that I made 2 weeks ago. And this essentially handles... Oh, right. So this is actually kind of neat. What I decided to do here is that we have this directory in our project in config obstacles. So in config obstacles, we have TRES files, so resource files for our different obstacle types. And what the obstacle registry does is it scans the directory and finds all of those files and puts them, it registers them. So it puts them into available obstacle types, or no, in obstacle types. But we have something that we're not leveraging yet, an idea of having conditions. And so these would be things that are essentially unlocks for the different placeable things. Which then go into populating obstacle types, right? So there's still more work to do here to flesh this out. But the idea of the obstacle registry is owning, like, what are the walls and turrets and area of effect towers and hold on, I have category. I actually, one of the things I was working through on the last stream was or just after the last stream was thinking about, just ignore all this, thinking about like what are the different things. So what are the different things that are happening in the game in terms of what you can do, right? So you can directly click on enemies to damage them. You can place obstacles. So obstacles are like our walls, right? They're the things that don't damage the zombies, but block them. And there could be different kinds. And so like brainstorming is one of the things that I do a lot in this manner. So turrets and damage towers are essentially like our turret. Things that shoot, that do damage to zombies. I think there will probably be things that blur the line between these two. Like some kind of thing, like you can mix and match these effects, right? So like buffs and other defenses, you could have things that like buff or like a turret that shoots a projectile that puts an AoE effect on the ground, or something like that. Could be a thing. Anyway, so all of what I'm trying to do right now. Hey, how do I say your name? DJ Mally Boy. How about DJ or Mally? You liked my keyboard. Thank you. I wouldn't claim to be super fast with my keyboard, but I like it. I've gotten used to it. It's taken quite a while, but I feel like I'm no slower with this than I was with my old Corsair, 104 key, QWERTY layout keyboard that I used to have. How's it going? Good morning. Welcome to the stream. I think the funny thing is I think when I got this keyboard, I also switched to doing, I feel like I'm maybe not even showcasing how fast I could type this anyway on this anyway, because I spend a lot of time on stream talking, and we have AI autocomplete stuff and all that, and yeah. Anyway, I do type. It's not just for show, but yeah. Anyway, so I was trying to figure out something. What was I trying to figure out? Let's try. Right. So how? Right. So I was trying to figure out how do we go from the thing that we can place in the game. In other words, let's see. I think I changed the game so that we start with currency, right? So we can place an obstacle of some kind in the world, right? Like this. Like so. But where is this box coming from? So that we can figure out, is there a like for the level, for the terrain, there is the static body 3D and collision shape, right? And so this collision shape should be a thing that allows the baking of the navigation region to just be static colliders, right? So do the obstacles also have the same sort of setup so that I can switch this parse geometry type to just be static colliders? So if we open the resource, it's just a collection of properties, right? So it's just like name, description, icon, color, category, is offensive cost, and then a scene. So the scene we can open, and we have a... Is that the music? What was that? I don't know. We have a mesh instance. We have a collision shape. So I think maybe we can just switch this to be static colliders. I think the thing that we'll need to do is we need to group with children, because the things that are tagged with the group are not the things that are the static colliders. So they will be they'll be like this node. This is, well, it is a static body 3D, but in this case, for the level, we put the group on the mesh instance 3D. and the static body. So is it the static body or is it the collision shape? How does this work? Geometry, source geometry mode. The source of the geometry used when baking. So if it's the last one, uses node in a group for geometry. The group is explicitly specified. So if it's with children, source geometry groups with children scans nodes in a group and their child nodes recursively for geometry. So I think the thing that has the geometry, and I could be wrong, and we could test this, but it's probably fine to use the more, to like find the group and scan the children. It's probably fine. The things that'll be tagged with the group won't have a ton of children. It shouldn't be that bad. And if it is, we can do some performance analysis if that turns out to be the thing we need to care about. So the geometry here is the collision shape, right? Not the static body 3D, I would assume. Same thing with the level, right? It's not the mesh instance 3D. In fact, we explicitly don't want to look at the mesh instance because that data will be on the GPU, and that was the warning that we got before that we fixed last week. I think it was last week, where we switched things around. But it's this collision shape 3D that has the shape that has all of the all of this stuff that we're seeing in all the triangles here. Anyway, so now we only have one navigation region 3D. We can bake this. Did it happen? I don't know. What's in the debugger? Oh yeah, it did bake. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and clear all of these. We're gonna move on. Go back to output. So, navigation map synchronization error. Attempted to merge navigation mesh polygon edge with another already merged edge. Crossing edges, overlapping polygons, mismatch of navigation mesh and polygon baked cell size. Navigation maps. Okay. So, we don't have multiple. We don't have the problem that we had before. This might be a thing where I just need to reload the current project. Let's try that. I feel like whenever anything weird happens, the answer is, let's reload the project. Okay, so let's run this and start game. And so the way this works is that zombies spawn in. I think we could do something interesting with the camera and like, okay, well, pathfinding is broken. We need to figure that out. But that aside, we could do something interesting where we like we probably need some kind of tutorial or introduction or something. I like the debugger state. What's going on here? Okay, it's just the same thing. Node origin and target are the same position. Look at first. Okay. Look at failed, rather. Oh, 1 second. Discord things are happening. Hey, by the way, I will be back in a second. Yes, something happened in the Discord, but I was too late. Whoops. Anyway, let's stop the deluge of errors here. Is this Something I should care about. Node origin and target are in the same position. Look at failed. Condition p pause dot is equal approx p target is true. Look at from position. So I think that means our enemy node and the path position are the same, or next path position. Like where we want to go is where we're at, or close enough. So there's nothing interesting. So navigation agent 3D get next path position is returning where we're at, which makes sense. That's why the zombie's not moving, because it's not navigating, which is not great, but we'll figure that out. If the agent does not have a navigation path, it will return the position of the agent's parent. Use of this function, every physics game is required to update the internal path logic of the navigation agent. Okay. Music's kind of loud. Let's turn that down a little bit more. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say a minute ago, which is that I finally figured out, at least for now, how to split the audio for the music from my desktop audio, which is why you're not hearing Discord notifications anymore, if you notice that. So yeah, anyway. Can we... What's the point here of doing this? Why not just do that? So direction 2. Would it be worthwhile to be like, if, well, not 0, but if next path position was equal to thing, global position, or if it's not equal to, that's when we do these things. Well, at least here, right? If we, so in other words, if we are moving, face the direction we're moving. Yeah. I presumably, well, I don't know. Will this be like a zeroed vector? If and then velocity would be 0. I mean, it must be, right? So and we want to set the that's why I'm not including this in the conditional. So maybe what we want to do is we want to just do this logic a different way, where we're just saying velocity is significant. Okay, so let's try that. And if nothing else, if our yeah, we're not debugging, we're not getting those messages anymore. And the game is stuck, right? Because the game won't progress while the existing wave is there, I think, is how that works. So why is our zombie stuck? We're not getting our debug. Navigation layers. That should be fine. Let's look at the remote scene tree. Where is the Yeah, the enemy is inside of the enemy spawner inside of the level, right? There we go. And then inside of the enemy, there should be a navigation agent. And then debug is enabled, right? So we should be able to see the line. All right. Go back to the game. There we go. So if we were trying to move, I mean, the zombie wouldn't be animated. There would be a path, those sorts of things. So obviously, the pathfinding thinks that there's nowhere for it to go, or no way for it to get where it needs to go, because otherwise there would be a line on the ground. We don't need 2 navigation layers there anymore, so that was on the navigation agent of the enemy. Let's go back and actually change that. Okay. Is this I see it shouldn't matter. Like, there's no actual collision with the ground with the way things are set up. So why is this not working? What am I missing? So in the game, we can place... Let's not place a turret, because that'll just kill the zombie. So that should cause... Yeah, that caused the navigation mesh to be rebaked. Oh, and there it goes. Okay. Interesting. So... Yeah, and it's... Oh yeah, we still have this bug. I should fix at some point where it can go negative and then it has infinite health. But the pathfinding should definitely route around. We no longer have the thing where you can push around objects with the preview. Nor can we place the obstacles on top of zombies. Does this cause the path to be re-updated? Seems like no. What? So what have we observed so far? So there seems to be some difficulty. Let me stop the game. Save it. We'll go into the navigation region. So group with children. Navigation mesh source group is the name of the group. We don't have any obstacles in the world, right? Because we haven't started the game. But we do have the mesh in the level. Which is in the group. Navigation mesh source group. Just double checking spelling. Navigation mesh source group. Yeah, that's it, right? Seems like it. I guess we can actually just click this and copy it. Be absolutely certain there's not accidentally a typo. Okay. And group with children. Static colliders. Collision mask. So it's scanning for any collision. Right, so if we go to level 1. Okay, we're on layers 1 and 5. Seems fine. right? The collision shape doesn't have a layer, but the static body 3D does. Okay. And we can double check also basic turret collision. Ah. So, what do I guess I'll make layer 6. Let's call layer 6 obstacles. Okay. And so when we go back to, let's see, we also need to do the wall. Open scene. Obstacle layer 6. Okay, great. And then here, layer 5 is the ground, the terrain of the level, right? So in Navigation 3D, let's go ahead and, oh neat. Can we, is there not a way to just clear all of these? We just want, we're just gonna do 5 and 6. Be really specific about what we're interested in here. Now, and then bake navigation mesh. Now we did this before. It's going right now, so I'm not going to click it again because we saw that last time. It takes a minute. Yeah, we also get this warning: navigation mesh, navigation map synchronization error. Attempted to merge a navigation mesh polygon edge with another already merged edge. What do you mean? There's only one. There's like only one thing in the entire scene tree right now with this group at present, I believe. So, attempted to merge a navigation mesh polygon edge with another already merged edge. This is usually caused by crossing edges, overlapping polygons, or a mismatch of the navigation mesh navigation polygon baked cell size and navigation map cell size. If you're certain of none of the above is the case, change navigation 3D merge raster cell size to 0.001. Maybe we can try doing that. So what is this cell size stuff? Well, currently our cell size is 0.25 meters. Must match with the cell size of the navigation map. So, project set. Is there navigation map settings? Navigation 3D. Default cell size. Yeah. What if we turn off that? I don't know. What if we turn on this? And bake it again. Do we get the same error? I don't know. I wish we had some kind of indicator that it was going though, right? But presumably it's still baking. Although if the error is one time, then maybe we wouldn't. We would get no indication. So what if I clear the navigation mesh and then bake it? So we'll know it's done because the thing will fill in. I wonder if it's simple as just like these checkboxes not agreeing between the project setting and the navigation region. Oh, and it's done. Okay, so if I run the game now, does the zombie start walking? Yeah, look at that. It did it. It does it. And we can block him too. A little bit. And then he routes around. So if we block a lot. Okay. Like, interesting. Like, he should path around this and not be stuck. Right, the pathing should update. But really doesn't. And that's maybe the cell size is too small? Let's try tweaking. So the cell size is the cell size is used to rasterize the navigation mesh vertices on the XZ plane, and must match the size of. Okay, so maybe not that, but the agent I think was the thing we tweaked before. Height radius. Distance to a road shrink the walkable area of the height field away from obstructions. So if we make this to be like 1, I don't know if this is something where we need to go to the agents as well and change. So let's try this though. I think one of the things that will take a lot of tweaking and tuning and stuff to do will be to tune the AI of the zombies to yeah, why does it think it can just go forward there? What has happened? What are you doing? So I think one of the things we can see if we go to like our own camera, switch this to 3D input. There we go. Okay, zoom out. What lovely terrain I've made. Anyway, is that there's a little bit of a gap, right? And I think that's perhaps causing some issue. At least that's causing that behavior that we're seeing right there. But yeah, okay. So we may have to be careful about how we build the ground to avoid some of that. I think might also have to think about like just lowering how we're placing obstacles. I think this is good though. Obviously we want to have the ability to have maps that have kind of some grade on them. So this is going to force us to figure out how to deal with this. Somewhat we can just sort of ignore this, just because, you know, we have this kind of isometric perspective on the map. Although we do have the ability to rotate the camera. That sort of works. That hides a little bit. Like this makes it really obvious that something weird is going on, where there's a gap between the placed obstacle and the actual ground. But otherwise, it's kind of hard to tell with our current art style. So maybe we do need to be a little bit better about placing obstacles, having them actually touch the ground. Does that seem like the next most important thing to fix? Is that going to fix our navigation issues? Right, so if I'm looking at navigation region 3D, and I'm looking at... Okay, let's stop that. And I'm looking at The minimum floor to ceiling height that will still allow the floor area to be considered walkable. So could we... Could we make this 2? Does that change anything? I think the other thing is depending on where we put the obstacle is going to have an impact on the behavior that we see here, right? So I got around it. No. Stop. Okay, so yeah, that's better. That is better. Okay, so maybe the height needs to be even more to accommodate for our, like, I don't envision, I'm gonna make it really high. I don't envision having like overhanging trainer things that would, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Oh no, that was too big of a gap. Like, what I'm trying to force the pathfinding to do is to be like, okay, let me backtrack and go all the way around. If it can do that, I'll be pretty happy. What I was gonna say, there we go. All right. So, I think that's good. There are a couple of issues. So this fixes our problem that we had with the work that we were doing last week. What I think I'll do, let's go to the project, and I'm gonna open a couple of issues. So one issue is that, what? Obstacles are not flush or stick or obstacles leave gaps underneath them on uneven terrain. Okay, so that's the thing. And I thought there was something else. Was there something else? I mean, like, if we're just looking at all the things that are going on in the game right now, there are a lot of things to do, right? So there's a lot of art stuff that we can do here. But, you know, there's a limit on how much I want to focus on the details when kind of just the general function of the game isn't quite right. So yeah, anyway, yeah, we can defeat that zombie. There's a thing we can do, and the other thing we can do right now is we can just place some turrets where the zombies will spawn. Probably should not allow this. Like, the area where the zombie spawns should not be a buildable area. But anyway, there we go. We won the game. Was there something else pathfinding related that was a problem that I needed to fix besides? So did I add a ticket? Is there a ticket around the fact that the health can go negative? Looks like no. Okay, so let's add health of obstacles can be negative, making them immortal. And this is a bug. This is also a bug. All right. So let's do this. Let's yeah, so we did this. We figured out how to do that. We've sorted out most of the issues. I feel like there was something else that was kind of lurking out there that I'm forgetting about. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit and push this up, and we'll get this merged. And this is not the thing I care about. Let's see. Let's do this, and then we'll come back to that. We're gonna make sure to get some good commit messages here. Yep. And yep. I think those are the key things. Anyway, Twitch, it's been an hour since we started the stream. Twitch just wants to run some ads, and I can't stop it. So I'm going to take a break here for a couple minutes while it does its thing. Stretch my legs, maybe get some water because the coffee's almost gone. I'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we'll continue working on the game. So.